Hey, what's going on, everybody? So we are doing the small group sessions for week 5. We got the guys from Founding Fathers. We've got Nat the Rebel with us. Of course, my co-host with the most group. There it is. And we're going to start this week with Eleo, the Average Joe. So you put out the video on Twitter. You actually tagged your opponents in it, the ladies over there. Gladys and Nikki, talking a lot of smack, but during the live show, you had said you weren't really sure that you were going to pull this one out.
Well, here's the thing, and I know we joke around my spreadsheets, but I did ran every single scenario possible, and there was like 4 scenarios that I was going to win. Now, me giving the credit that, Stealing Balls and Killing Giants have, because, especially Gladys, who has a background and a half on fantasy football. She writes for a whole bunch of people. So I'm thinking, I know for a fact they're not going to not pick Jalen Hurts or any of my top 3 scorers, which I was hoping if they did, they would pick A.J. Brown.
Sure.
Now,
and go
ahead.
They talked about worrying about that and trying to strategize to get that double up and to avoid you getting the double up and things like that. The rosters are pretty target heavy, so it's kind of obvious who's your opponent is going to pick. The ladies have Mahomes, they've got Barkley, they've got Kupp. I mean, those are the guys you're going to target to try and bring back down to 21 points. You have Hurts and Eckler, AJ Brown. Those are the guys that you're going to target on your roster. So it's you kind of know where this is going to go. Going into the trenches on Tuesday night, 7-point difference, and we find out that they picked Edmonds. Good pick, best self pick of the night, 0.1. They get 20.9 out of it added to their score. They go up by 28 points. You pick Mahomes. They kind of figured that you might, and
why not?
You take them down 20 points, so they actually only get 1.25 points added to their total. Gives them 138. They're still in the lead, but now we see this on the trenches, and you have to think, okay, wait a minute, maybe I have a shot.
Again, it was 1 out of 4 shots, right? Well, let me rephrase myself. We have 9 players, right?
Right.
This is where you started holding spreadsheets right up to the camera.
So if you look at there's only like 3 green lights, right? Because if they pick anybody else, right? But
there's really only 2 because ETN has 15, so you're making money regardless. There's only 2 people they could take down, but it's pretty likely that they're going to take one of those people at the same time.
It's pretty obvious that based on the scores. And if I'm again, I did what I thought they were going to do. I'm going to go for their highest scoring, which is Patrick Mahomes. And then I knew they were going to pick the worst player in their team, which was Edmonds, which I pick ATN, right?
Because you take ATN, good pick. You go ahead and add some money, cut the deficit down in half, and you're on your way to a win right now, except for the fact that you have Hurts and Eckler. You're going to lose 15 to 20 points right now, and you're dead in the water. I mean, at this point, everybody else here knew that if this game was over, that you were not going to pull this out at this one. Did you know that you were not going to win this match right now?
Yeah, no, at that point, I knew, because when I saw them go with Edmonds, I said, all right, everything is playing to what I thought my projections were. You know what I mean? Because every projection, I knew they were going to pick Edmonds. And when I did mine and I did my whole thing down, I was like, I was going to lose because I know they're going to do they're either going to do, Hurts or Eckler. And then I'm like, hoping that, okay, maybe they're going to screw that up, right? And pick Jalen Hurts, which I still would have won. It would have been closer. But I said, you know what? I don't think they're that blank. I don't think they're going to be I don't think they're going to think that way. They're smarter than that. And that's why I was so freaking shocked that they picked London, especially London. That's why I was shocked.
There we go.
Everybody else. I was never in my wildest dream. I'm a betting person, right? If you would have told me they were going to pick somebody else and, then any of your top 3 and, forget about the score from Hurst, I would have said, nah, man, I'm not going to take that bet. That's fool's gold. But
Chris, Eric,
that's not the scenario. Jersey Shore had the situation. The trenches have the scenario.
There you go. You end up getting 17 points, more than enough to get the victory. Chris, Nat, Eric, Roop, what did you guys see when you saw London's name up there? Now, give them some credit. They didn't pick London specifically. They had to pick a position, so they picked wide receiver 2. And Gladys has told us that she was hoping you were going to make a switch and put someone else in there. She fully acknowledges that she missed Eckler, and she 100% would have picked Eckler. She didn't realize that you had Eckler, and she owns that, but she did not think that you were going to leave London in that spot. Everybody else, when you saw London pop up, you saw the way this one swings right off the bat. It was the first match of the night. What were you guys thinking?
Well, you can't look at it through this lens really to understand. It's not that bad of a move. You have to go put yourself in her shoes on Thursday when you don't know if this person's going to move people around or who they're going to all of a sudden bench or put in the starting lineup. So really, it was a dart throw. Chris and I talked about it, and we decided that our opponent's strength was one certain position, so it would be crazy to do the flex. But that really only narrowed it down to a couple. It was, everybody in this competition is crafty, so it's guesswork no matter what, just picking a position.
Chris, if you look at Gladys, her team, I mean, as from a fantasy football, from a mind, she set up perfectly. She picked Chase Edmonds. She got unlucky on a dart throw.
Mm-hmm. Now, let me tell you what happened. I got in their heads from that trap. I started with my trap.
Yep. It was psychological warfare.
Streak. He's coming back with a vengeance. I'm going to take it off. All right. I got in their heads, and I made them nervous, and they picked the wrong guy. That's what it was.
I thought that Eckler was going to be chosen because I'm looking as like if I would have played him, I was like, I totally would have.
Everybody did. Everybody did.
Either Hurts or Eckler. That's what that was. Everybody. I think out of the what do we have? 11 people, 12 teams. Well, not counting me. I think 10 of them would have gone with one of the two.
Yeah.
And even she admits she would have gone Eckler if she had realized that you had him. She just overlooked him when she overthought it, to use her words. Ruth?
When I saw this GameBreaker come through, I was thinking I would put all my players on the bench and then within 5 minutes before game starts, slide everybody up. And then even then, flip-flop them. And I was thinking this is going to be so difficult to do and try to transition players and freak everybody out. Because realistically, the other team has to get their bid in before the game starts. And it didn't even matter. So you could just do whatever you wanted after that. And just that small time frame just wasn't enough to really pick the ones. And that happened a couple times over the course of all the games that were out there.
Yeah, we see
I'm
that.
grateful that I won, but there's only one quarterback. So they could have gone for the quarterback, not the running back.
We see that pop up a couple times, like you said, throughout the show. But you get the win and take the ladies down. And it works out even if it was not through your own design, and it just kind of happened that way.
Hold on a second, but let me tell you something. I was kicking their ass throughout the whole game. You know what I mean? When freaking Mahomes, which everybody in like 90% of leagues lost on Monday night when Mahomes played. But the big kick was, man, Cooper Kupp was getting shut down, and all of a sudden goes for the 49-yard touchdown. And he goes from 10 points to freaking 22, right?
I will say I was surprised also that the ladies did not choose Patrick Mahomes because I felt like that was an obvious choice for.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah, for you, I felt that was an obvious choice, and that would have screwed you. But you did it, and I would have done that if I had Patrick Mahomes. I would have done that because I know you would have done it because you would wanted to pull me back to 21 because he's going to double it. And then you would have said, okay, I pull him back, but then I choose him, and then I get double the points because we chose the same person.
If I'm ever in Colorado, I'm going to look her up, and I'm going to take her out to dinner for that nice gesture, okay? Either way, I'm a gentleman. That's what I do, you know what I'm saying?
It's a gentleman all the way. Classy. Stay classy.
Classy like San Diego, bro.
Stay classy. So we come up to this match. You guys are looking at Alex's roster. He's got Herbert. He's got Harris, who's boomer bust right now. Jacobs on Monday night. He's got Jefferson. His roster's got quite a bit of options. We'll dive into who you actually picked more in just a second, but where were you guys kind of looking at your final three, if you will? We're going to go this guy, or this guy.
Well, we thought, looking at his team, I haven't been overly impressed with Herbert this year. I wasn't afraid he was going to put 40 up or anything like that. And I traded Najee everywhere
reason.
because I'm out. So
Yeah, I
we
agree.
weren't really. I figured he would put his 21 on Najee because that's a smart move. Either Najee has a great day and goes over 21, and you're a little irritated because it's 24, or you get 21 on whatever he did. So we looked at his roster and we like, well, the strength of this team is in the wide receivers, so that narrows it down to the wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2, and the flex.
Mm-hmm.
But then we thought, well, he could put anybody in the flex, so we can't do that. That's out. And then we literally flipped a coin.
Well, it might have worked. And we get through this 155-148 again, another 7-point game going in. You guys picked Kamara because you guys didn't think he was going to do well. You said as much on the show. After what happened this week, are you guys back in on Kamara, or are you guys still thinking if you had 21 points to give again, would you give it to Kamara?
No.
Knowing
back.
what we knew then, yeah. But now,
Well, I mean, even this
he's
week.
all the way back.
He's all the way back. So he's back in. Had a great game. You guys actually lost 6 points off it, making it that much closer. But he did pick Harris, like you said, and so he actually gains 14 points. So he's got to, again, just like the last match, the game breaker gives someone a pretty good lead going into the opponent picks.
I think
Now,
we talked about that too, right, Chris? That
Yeah, well, right here, Chris, whenever we started this, I heard the first person pick a quarterback. I did not know that we were allowed to pick quarterbacks. For some reason in my mind, whenever we talked about it, the QBs were out.
Austin
So,
said that too. Austin
As
said
soon
that too.
as soon as they said a quarterback, I was like, oh, son of a gun. He picked Josh. We are done.
That's what I was going to ask you. Is
we
if you
figured that
knew he was going to pick Josh, but you said you thought quarterbacks were out of it. So who did you
did.
guys think that he was going to pick?
I thought he ought. When we talked about it the first time, I thought he'd pick Josh Allen, and I never thought about it again. I'm like, that's automatic. And then I
Who
just
did you think,
started
Chris?
thinking about his team.
I thought he was going to pick Kamara.
Okay, so you guys were going for that double up strategy.
We
Okay.
were, yeah.
I
thought-
did not know he was going to pick Higgins. That
Never-
didn't ever cross my mind.
We never even mentioned it. No, never even
That
crossed our
was
mind.
crazy.
So we talked about this with Adam and Alex. Adam also picked his opponent's tight end, knowing that his opponent could not pick the tight end, and so the double up option was completely nullified by picking the tight
Oh,
end.
that's playing
position.
scared.
I thought it was pretty smart, knowing that although Adam, they also conceded the point that unless it's Andrews or Kelsey, you really don't have to worry about a tight end. So there's definitely strategy to be going there. But he did pick your tight end, who got 0 points, playing on an ankle sprain, played 10 plays, got nothing. So you guys get the benefit of the full 21 points. But you also picked his wide receiver 1. And this is where it kind of got fun, because for some reason, I had it in my head that you guys had picked RB1 and not wide receiver 1. So when this slide came up during the live show, it said Najee Harris, which would double Najee Harris to a paltry 13.2 and still do nothing for him. But in this case, it's the wide receiver 1. And so it has a huge impact on these scores right here. When you guys saw Harris come up and you guys were like, wait, you jumped on it fast. Wait, that's not what we picked. That's not what we
Hang
picked,
on.
because you guys were sitting in your chairs doing the math. You knew Jefferson was supposed to be coming up. You knew the
We were
points were
so
going to come
proud
down.
of the way we nailed it.
And you see Harris come up, and you guys flipped out, understandably so, and rightfully so. But we fixed it, and here we go. He loses 14 points.
This is a small hiccup, and we'll get to the good part.
He has to rely on his score, carry him only a 0.1 differential. You guys actually added 14 points. And so we see you guys shoot up to 170 and nail the win. Did you guys, again, we keep asking this, at what point did you guys feel comfortable that you had won this thing? Either during the trenches, Monday, Sunday, at any time?
When we saw that he picked Higgins, that's when we knew.
When I knew that we won it is whenever I said we can pick quarterbacks, and I go, he picked Allen, and he was kind of dark on his camera, and he was back there with his head going. I was like, "Ooh,
he
picked
overthought
somebody
it.
else. Oh my god!"
He overthought it. He thought
like,
we
I
were
think
gonna.
he won.
He thought
Well,
we were gonna pick Josh Allen.
Well, the week before that, Higgins did go off. Higgins had a big week.
He did
in week 4, and so I guess he was thinking that Higgins was going to have a big week again. Didn't want to give you the double up on Allen if you had picked it. So I can understand it. Again, not the pick I would have probably made in this instance, but
yeah. But you can argue for that pick. I mean,
you can.
It's hard to say it was a bad pick because Higgins can go off at any time.
Mm-hmm.
I just really thought that he was going to go with somebody that was for sure going to get over 21 points.
It was just absolutely the wrong pick looking at your roster. I mean, he was going to give you money with most people anyway, except for Kamara or Allen. Everybody else was giving you money, and he just picked the absolute wrong one.
Yep. And when I woke up on Wednesday, I took a look at his lineup, and he had Jefferson in the flex spot. And I said, oh, okay, this is a clever guy. He's going to pull some shit. He's going to put Jefferson in the wide receiver spot Sunday morning. So which wide receiver spot we need to flip a coin, and we just happen to be right. Wide receiver 1 makes sense because that's the last place we would think that he would put him.
Because I look at his picture, this is an army guy,
little Princess
right?
Bride mentality.
He's going to play it straight. You know what I'm saying? I thought he's not going to leave him in the flex because he's not going to leave him in the flex. And so we flipped a coin and it went on WR1, and my mind went really at ease because I'm like, he's going to stick him into WR1 because he's going to think we're overthinking. He's just going to play it straight.
Do you think that's a rookie move of his?
No, I think he overthought it a little bit.
So rookie move, I think. That's what I think.
Well, if you think about it like this, you brought up the fact that he had Jefferson in his own flex spot. Mm-hmm. So he knew that he was going to change his. He probably assumed that you were going to change yours too.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I would have kept it simple again, just like I did. If Allen is in the Mahomes territory, I would have gone quarterback. Simple as that. It's not the time to complicate it. I'm a KISS kind of guy. Keep it simple, stupid. You know what I'm saying?
There you go.
The most common sense you can. I mean, the founding fathers dodged freaking impeachment right here, right? Based on that fucking move. You know what I mean? So, it's one of those things when you have a quarterback like Mahomes and Allen and even Hurst this year, who's in that with Lamar Jackson, it doesn't matter. You're playing a defense. You gotta go for the most obvious point. You know what I mean? You gotta go for the one that's gonna score the most points. That's just my take. Again, I'm not a guy
this is a true story. I woke up at 8:00 Sunday morning, Nat, and I said, okay, should I move this around? And I thought, this team sucks. Anybody that he picks is probably going to help us. So why even touch it? And I'm serious. That's exactly what I thought.
We're making money. So let's talk about, before we get into the actual matchup, we're pre-Sunday. Everybody's at 0. Everything is looking good. And you look over at his roster. Did you immediately hone in on the person that you were going to eventually pick, or did you kind of gameplay it a little bit in your head?
I thought about it, a little bit, and then I think I text you. I think that morning to double check, and then once I got clarity, it was easy to pick that person. So it was an easy choice.
Now, what about yours? Did you know exactly where you were going right off the bat?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I knew Juju wasn't going to touch 21 points. I think that he's a guy that's going to heat up as time goes on, and he's going to be, have more chemistry with Mahomes. That's the whole reason why I have him. It's more of a later thing, strategy thing. Long
game thing. When you see the game breaker come up and it's like, I get to give somebody a free 21 points, like, Juju gets to actually score me 21 points this week. Like, that's fantastic.
Just like old times.
Yeah. There's a few rosters in this competition that are like that I felt this was a free 21 points. Like, this is fantastic. Yep. I can't wait because I know exactly where I'm putting this 21 points. And when you had texted me Juju Smith-Schuster, I was like, yep, that's exactly how this game breaker is supposed to go. That's where that 21 points is supposed to go. So he picked Carr for himself. He could have picked Cook again. He could have picked Cook. He could have picked Debo. He could have picked Kelsey. Yeah. He could have thrown a flyer on his flex and Gabe Davis, which is easy to say in hindsight, but I don't think I mean, I can see picking Gabe Davis, not expecting him to get 21. Luckily, he did not pick Gabe Davis, and we know now it's because he was trying to get that double up. This one was just too far gone at the end of the week for the game breakers to matter that much, but it's still nice to get in there and look at the strategy. You picked Breece Hall for him, which again I thought was kind of interesting with his roster and who he could have picked. There we go. Who you could have picked. Again, not picking Carr, the people that I just named off. You told us why. Tell us again why you went with Breece Hall instead of like the quarterback, as we all have said. It's definitely quarterback, right?
Yeah. So I thought that quarterback was the easy choice, and I think that that's how people think. So how I was thinking of this game breaker is, why would I do exactly what you want me to do? If I know exactly how you're thinking. I scared Jordan the whole week. He was afraid.
100%.
And he did not set his roster for a while. So I kind of had to think, like, what is he going to do? Like, if I'm you, what would I do? And I'm like, you're going to choose a quarterback. I know this. So after thinking about that, I think he finally set his roster on Sunday morning or something like that.
Yeah.
Then I got to see what he's thinking, and I'm like, okay. Breece Hall is someone I didn't think Gabe Davis would go off the way he did, but
nobody saw that coming. And really, it's that first play that really said, you take that first play out of it, and he doesn't have a 40-point day.
Right.
I think he's in the back in the 20s, high 20s, but I think he's in the 20s without that first play. But yeah, go ahead.
He's a guy that can give you. He'll go off and he'll get you 20 points, but then the next 3-4 games, he'll give you 7 points. And literally, that's just kind of how that offense goes a lot of time with Gabe Davis. So I wasn't concerned about it. But once I saw that catch, I was like, okay, it's one of those mornings. I was like, okay, all right, well, I'm going to let this one go.
Yeah. You said you knew kind of early on. I think you even said you knew as soon as Gabe Davis got that pass, it wasn't going to be your day. You kind of just alluded to it. Yep. Did Gabe Davis's first half performance really tear you down that much? I mean, did you really just throw in the towel after that?
I didn't throw in the towel, but I saw what kind of day it was going to be. I was like, what are the chances? I was like, come on. I'm like, the last 2 weeks, I think I've played people that have gotten extremely lucky. I'm going to be completely honest. Yeah, like, I think certain guys that went off never go off. So I'm just like, you just kind of gotta, say it's the football gods, and that's just what happened. So it didn't like kill me, but I was like, okay, this is that kind of Sunday. So any given Sunday.
Nat, I feel your pain. It happens to me quite often. Everybody that I play has a career day. It's really fun on Sunday. Career day is what it is.
I'm always playing 4 touchdowns in a game, Kelsey, 4 touchdowns in a game, Taysom Hill.
Come on.
Every time.
I'm fed up with it, to be honest with you.
Everybody got the double shot this year, too, because anybody who drafted Mahomes stacked him with Kelsey because Hill's not there anymore. You're not going to stack him with MVS.
No.
Or
Huge.
No, you're hoping Juju. That's why I picked Juju, and Juju's not showing up. And I'm going to hold on to him all year because of it.
He probably will.
I'm a Steelers fan. I'm telling you, he's not going to show up. Eleo, Chris, Eric, looking at Jordan's roster, where would you have gone? Take the points out of it, obviously. It's still Saturday morning. We don't know what's going on. Do you pick? Who do you pick?
I'm going to be a little biased here. I'm sorry. You guys go. I'm going to go first.
I would have done the exact same thing. Because Breece Hall was clearly about.
Remember, she didn't pick Breece Hall. She picked RB1 or RB2. So she's either picking Cook or Hall.
She picked the spot where he assumed he would put Breece Hall.
Sure.
And he's been pretty close to taking over that RB1 role. He got 17 carries in week 4. Mm-hmm. So when I saw that, I said, okay, they're comfortable giving this kid 15, 20 carries. They got an opponent coming in who can be run on. This is probably going to be the day for him, and it was. So that was the move.
Elio?
Yeah, I agree with him. I have actually, the reason why I'm a little biased for Breece Hall is because I have him in another league, right? And therefore, I have him in another league.
Easy to do.
And I've been playing him, and then finally I started him 2 weeks ago for the first time. And that's when he started taking off, because he started feeling comfortable because Carter was getting all the goal line work. He was getting most of the snaps. And I think after week 3 is when you started seeing him kind of, out carry and out snap. And then, last week he had a great week, not this past week, the week before that. And then, everything came together. You had Zach Wilson again. They're playing Miami, who you can run on. They're not they're coming in not in their best shape because of Tua and all that good stuff. So it just, I think Breece Hall picking 2, RB2. I think Breece Hall was the right choice, and I would have done probably the same thing because we've seen Cook as being inconsistent pretty much all year. And like you said, from her mentality in regards to the quarterback, I think she did the right thing. She's, like you said, man, career day. I could have scored 20 points in Jordan's team if I was playing. You know what I'm saying? That's one of those days that even the water boy was putting up points up there. I mean, it's insane.
Yeah. It was a perfect day for Jordan. Perfect storm. Nat got caught in it. Finishes with 189 legitimately, but he anticipated the pick. He anticipated Nat taking Carr, was looking for the double point, so he also threw double points on top of it. She didn't pick it, but he still got the double points afterwards. Takes him from the 21 to the 42, so he actually gained 11.9 with the double up and finishes with 210.55, high score for the second time, but we'll talk about what that meant
what is his record?
Really just a second. 2-3 or 3-2. One of these.
Jordan is 3-2.
He really went all out. Like that's a one-win team move, I think. That was
when they show up,
they
show up big.
He had a great week. He really did. And I gotta say, like, another reason why I did, pick Breece Hall is because I have him in another league and I traded for him week 1 in a league. I traded CeeDee Lamb for Cortland Sutton and Breece Hall. And it was because I knew it was coming. So they were gonna give him all the work. And I was like, that RB2 that was my choice. So that was awesome.
The Breece Hall Jets master plan is not a big secret. It was pretty evident from the day he got drafted really what was going to happen on that offense. That's why everybody that took Carter talked about it's going to be a temporary thing. And
I tried so hard to trade him last week.
most people took Breece Hall first, then tried to get the handcuff with Carter, knowing that Carter wasn't going to be there. Breece Hall went first in most leagues. So we see the FAAB. This is what the FAAB looked like after the week going into waiver Wednesday. Sure we're going the right way here, babe. That's what it looked like. And we talk about the fundraisers being able as a way to gain FAAB, because this week it didn't matter. Nobody lost anything, but going into next week, FAAB money is definitely going to matter, especially with players coming off the roster. And honestly, more injuries happening as well. Amazing fundraisers you guys are running here, and you guys are doing a killer job adding money to it. But one of the things that we've talked about in the other small groups is the fact Chef Boy RDJ finally broke into this win column here for the Andrew McDonough B Plus Foundation. He got his $10 donation, and it came from within. It came from Jordan, and that's not the first fundraiser that Jordan has donated to. He's donated to Eleo's, and he's donated to a couple more on here. And I just think it's really cool. Not only the fundraisers that you guys pick, the fact that you guys are willing to do it. You guys set up these fundraisers, and that's something I don't know if everybody that watches knows. We did not set these up. You guys put in the effort and put in the time to set these things up and make them work. We just put them on the armchairathletics.com for the audience to go to, see what you guys are about, find your fundraisers and donate to. How do you guys feel about this stuff?
I mean, we live in a small town, Hartford, Wisconsin, and it's a really, like, one of our very, very close friends' wife sits on the board of directors of that charity, and it's an amazing charity. So,
Eleo, how are you feeling about the fact that you've started this thing and you're actually raising money for it now? I know it's not something you expected before we started this thing, but to be doing this, obviously it feels good, but you picked your charity for a reason, and now you're actually making a difference.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't think I've actually had the opportunity to say why I picked Mito Action. A lot of people don't know what mitochondrial disorders are, and this charity actually uses all the money to improve the quality of children, adults, and family living with mitochondrial, through the support, education, clinical research. There's no they're paying their CEO or anything like that. Majority of it, like 90%, goes to the cause. And if anybody, just to give you an idea, because not many people are familiar with what a mitochondrial disorder is actually, it impacts people greatly. And everybody knows mitochondria is found in every cell of the body, and the main purpose is to produce the energy of the body to function. So when a person has a disorder, a mitochondrial disorder, their cells aren't able to produce energy for the functions needed to work effectively in the body. So most of the time, it often affects organs that requires the most energy, like the heart, the muscle, and the brain. And the reason why I picked this, because my daughter was diagnosed with this disorder about a year ago at the age of 8, and mostly because it affects her brain. It's she used to have seizures. She was taking medicine for like 2 years. She also is in the autism spectrum, which is also what mitochondrial causes. Also, it also affects the bones in the body. So my daughter actually fatigues really quickly, and she cannot, and this has been all her life, and we've always been trying to find out why. And we have a wheelchair for her, so when she can walk for long periods of time, she has to get on a wheelchair. Due to her low muscle tone and in-towing throughout the years, she had major surgery at the age of 8, which is orthopedic surgery to correct her in-towing, because he was causing her to fall and cause harm to herself. And it's called a excuse me, man, this is a big word, bilateral femoral derotational and surgery, which it's crazy, man. They take both of your bones, both of your hip bones, and they cut right through them. They turn them around in the hip so they could put both her legs back together, and straight with screws. And so she had to learn how to walk. She was in a wheelchair for over a month, and then she had to go back a year later after she was everything again, just to take the screws out. And now, thanks to that surgery, she is able to walk great. She runs beautifully, man. She's not a hazard to herself and stuff like that. But the mitochondrial thing, we go to Philadelphia once a year to the top children's hospital, because she's currently getting different tests and stuff like that to figure out what's going to be the diagnosis and what's going to be the option of treatments. Right now she's getting checked with a cardiologist every year, a whole bunch of stuff, because we don't know what's going to affect. Right now, nothing comes up, but she does have the disorder, and it's a really, really rare condition. My kid has been through a lot, man, but she's a freaking warrior, bro. She works, she busts her ass. She doesn't let any of this stuff get her down, because now that she's 9 years old, she's figuring that, hey, man, I got certain things I don't like other kids do have, but she kicks it in the ass every single time, man. And she's my, we say in Spanish, she's my guerrera. She's my warrior, and she doesn't let anything down, man. She lives by the fourth kind of qualities we raised her, which is faith, family, and hard work and integrity. And that's what we're trying to raise, man. A lion, not a sheep.
Awesome.
Yeah,
If she's
that's
anything
awesome.
like her father, she's going to be going really far in life. So that's good.
I agree.
Facts.
No, it's fantastic, and I love that you're doing this. And I love that everybody else is helping out as well. This money that you guys are raising is doing amazing work in the world, and I just, I applaud your guys' efforts for doing it and taking up that torch. Almost $2,000 raised so far. We're only in week 5. I'm pretty sure that we can get this at least to 5, and I would love to see it get to 10, but you guys are just doing amazing stuff. So keep at it, keep getting the word out, text your friends. Gladys even talked about resorting to guilt just to get a little money, because it's not for us, it's not for FAAB, it's for these amazing charities. Congratulations, guys, fantastic job with the fundraisers so far. So the fundraisers did get 9 people got the $10 this week. $300 divided up 30. We bumped it up to 34. We see the FAAB money that is going to be used, and then the moment of truth comes, and we find out that Jordan cannot pick the game breaker. He still gets the $30 in FAAB. He had the high score, and we're not going to take away the $30 that he earned, but he has already picked a game breaker in week 1. So it reverted to the next highest score, which was Austin. Austin got a hold of the board, likes the Sandlot, saw the Squints one, and we pull the Squints game breaker out of this. And what we end up finding out is that if you lose your match, you're going to lose a starter. But not only that, you lose the points off your total. But then even if you win, you're still going to lose a player. It's just that player is going to come from your bench. And if you, including their points, the player's not even playing. Their points normally wouldn't even count. Well, this is the trenches, and this week it does. So those points are going to come off, as a prize for winning your match. And then just so you can't throw a scrub in there, and of course with bye weeks coming up, it kind of came at the perfect time. If the player picked doesn't get any points, and you're still going to lose 10 points. So the only thing we know right now is that you are going to lose a player, and you are going to lose 10 points. You don't know who it is. You don't know if that 10 points is going to matter. You don't know if you're going to lose more. After the scores are done Monday night, you'll know what your opponent has, but you'll have zero clue of what you have. Thank you, Austin. Thank you, Trenches. Thank you, GameBreaker. Where are you guys right now? So we're a few days in. You guys have been strategizing. I've been answering questions all week. Where are you guys at on this GameBreaker? Feeling comfortable with it and things like that?
When I left the show on Tuesday, I was like, all right, this is not that bad. Until it takes me a while.
You guys say that every week.
Yeah, and then I look at it, I'm like, oh crap, hold on a second, I misunderstood this. Now after I finally understand it, I'm like, crap, I got Swift on a bye week, and he's also out. All right, I have Trevor Lawrence on my bench, so I got two players that I could lose because I'm going to win the freaking game.
That you don't want.
By the way, So there we go. He could pick. It doesn't matter. He's not going to score any points. So I found my appointment. I don't want to say it out loud because Coop is probably listening to this right now, Mr. Master of Strategist himself. He could pick. He could pick Swift. That's one of my big dogs, man. Who's been injured, who hasn't played in 2 freaking weeks, man. Come on now.
Don't worry. He's already thought of that scenario.
Yeah,
I'm sure he has.
Of course. So I'm like, shit, and it's gonna get nasty. So I think at this point it's trying to kind of battle fire with fire. So try to pick the biggest dog on his bench and the biggest dog I could think on the other side on the starter. So it's got to be swing low and swing high. Maybe we could do both at the same time. But
Nat, what are you thinking on this one, Nat? Like, how are you?
I'm still thinking about it, see what I want to do. I kind of don't stress about it, and then it hits like Friday and Saturday, and then I'm looking at it just so I don't think or whatever. Last time I did that, it was week 3, and I regret the choice that I made because I overthought it. So I'm not gonna do that again. So I'll wait till Friday or Saturday, but put some strategy into it, and then let the chips fall where they may.
Chris and Eric?
Well, I guess I'm not really, like Eleo did. I'm not really giving away any strategy to talk about Josh Allen. He's
sure.
Incredible. Every week, it's either protecting Josh Allen from harm or hoping we can win for Josh Allen. So this will just be another week.
That you're hoping to win,
protecting
so you lose
our
the bench
boy.
player.
What do you have in your bench?
Yeah, we'll lose a bench player. We're not losing Josh Allen. So whatever we got to do, if we got to fly out to a game, we got to call somebody's mom. We got to get this figured out, but we can't lose Josh Allen.
It's a must-win situation.
Yeah, we're all in on whatever we got to do.
He's got a target on his back every single week.
We got a hack sleeper.
And he's the reason we're 3-2. Let's not kid ourselves. If we lose him, we're kind of fucked. Like anybody who loses Josh Allen would be.
Now, Roop, you don't know the Game Breakers. I mean, you don't even know what they are, other than some of the ones you designed, but you don't even know which ones we picked out of the ones that you designed. So the Game Breakers really are just as much a surprise to you every week. What are you thinking about this one?
I think there's a lot of strategy that's going to go into it, but at the same time, do you put your bye week player in your lineup and hope for a W because you think the other team's a little softer than yours and try to save that spot? It's so much strategy. It's kind of harder than some of the other ones, I think, but at the same time, just like everybody's been saying, you can overthink this one and you could end up losing so much more than what you thought. So I mean, do you go for the win or do you go for the save, for like a Josh Allen save? It's really difficult.
I want to say that the ladies, Nikki and Gladys, are playing Jordan this week. So
good.
We had talked about this. So it will be a good matchup, but we know in other game breakers, and Eleo, you came out on the wrong end of this. In other game breakers, teams have tried to lessen the impact by forming deals and stuff like that. You actually got burned by it by Jordan, as a matter of fact. So the point I'm alluding to is that not only is Jordan and Jordan playing Gladys and Nikki. Nikki is 1000% never going to make a deal with anybody for any reason. So we know there's going to be no deal there. And then if you were to actually still be willing to make a deal with Jordan, well, then, that's on you after what we saw he did to Eleo. But the other contestants, could this be a situation where a side deal might benefit you? I mean, would you be open to a side deal, Nat?
A side deal, I just want to play it out. Like I want to win, and I don't want to do it with a deal. So no.
I'm a jaded girlfriend right now. It's overprotective with every boyfriend she gets. So when it comes to the deal, that's what it is. I'm that scorned person right now. You know what I mean? Or boyfriend. Either way, anybody can get cheated on. So that's who I am right now. I'm like
Jordan cheated on you. He got you.
I'm asking for freaking trails right
dog
now.
Like everyone else.
Text messages and screenshots, and you gotta have to give me your bank account so I can see where the money's going. All that kind of shit. So
Eleo, do you need to talk, bud? We can talk.
Yeah,
yeah, we'll talk. We'll talk after the thing here. Chris and Eric, would you guys to save Josh Allen?
Yeah, no, I will definitely talk to anybody about a deal and a side deal. But listen, we're here to win. So when we're talking, just know that.
Yep.
Yeah.
We are here to win $5,000. But I will absolutely listen to anybody. What anybody's got to say, I'm all ears.
There you go.
I really want Nikki and Gladys to make a deal with Jordan and some backstabbing go along somehow, some way.
And then get him back in the name of Eleo.
Just because I know Nikki is not having it. Nikki is like, what? Every time I love it. I love she's in for the fight, which is why I don't think she will do anything with a backdoor deal or anything like that. But I really want to see something happen or something go down and the chaos just unfolds. I would really enjoy that.
Patriot Sports Radio on Saturday morning will be so much better if one of those two will stab the other one in the back. We will do a whole segment on that because that will blow up on Twitter and it will be great.
I'll be at the game on Saturday.
The only deals I'm interested in are trades. I am like the Pat Riley of the league. I will trade, and I will hunt down for the right deal. And not stop till I get it.
On the way out, Nat, who are you playing this week? Do you know?
Who knows? I don't know.
No, not on your players. What your opponent? Who's your competitor? The competitor you're up against.
Is it my favorite person? A little Sutton?
Oh,
is that who you have this week?
Yeah.
How are you feeling about it?
I feel good.
There you go. Eleo
in the bag. That's what you got to say.
Eleo, who do you got this week?
I got Coop, man, and we're pretty evenly matched. We both have a lot of some big studs on bye also. So
can we expect another video?
Oh, for sure, man. This is I'm very superficial. I mean, I get once something works for me, I keep doing it. So even if I lose, I'm gonna be doing another video. So everybody, you've been warned. There's gonna be a trash talk video probably Saturday. And it's all for fun. So
Chris and Eric, what do you guys got this week?
We got Andrew and Kate.
Oh, they've made some moves this week.
You got to take them down, man.
So I'll tell you, Elio, that
they got some weaknesses, guys. That's why.
We looked really good coming into this week because their team was on bye. Their starters were on a bye.
They had a ton of starters. They had Adams and Waller.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of buys this week.
So you guys may just be losing 10 points.
Mm-hmm. I saw Adams go up on the trade block and I got all excited. I texted Chris, should we trade for Adams? He's like, no, because then they'll just oh yeah, that's right. That's dumb. Never mind.
Not in the cards this week.
There's going to be some people hitting the wire. There's going to be some people hitting the wire because we got some, including myself. There are some starters that are on bye and big studs. Adams, one of my team. I mean, there's going to be. I'm telling you, I see something good this week. I finally got some money on after week one where I put them. I'm gonna strike. I'm picking up something, dude.
There's gonna be 7 good players on the wire.
700%.
The wire this week.
That's why I'm not trading until next week until after this.
Yeah, no, there's.
Nat, where do we find your stuff?
Me, so you go to Twitter. I'm on there heavy every day. And it's Reese Rebel 31. So Reese is REES REBEL 31. And I'm on Twitter heavy. Tuesday I have a show starting. It's called Bench Warmers, and it's an NBA game show. And basically, it's about every hot takes. We always have hot takes, and you get to put your hot take to the test. And someone is going to kind of battle you and, be the opposing. And we bring it to a vote with the rest of the room, and the winner, you live to fight another day. We're thinking about some prizes, but definitely the loser gets moved to the bench. And we're going to talk a lot of trash about that person and their terrible takes. So if you're going to tell me, that, Pat Bev is the best point guard of in the league right now, be prepared to back it up in a lot of trash talk.
Jones in 4 Sports, look him up. He'd be a fantastic addition to your show.
Yeah.
Jones in 4 Sports, he's awesome. Yeah, love him. Elio, where can we find your stuff?
All right, just like that, go to Twitter, Joe's_talk on Twitter, and there in my bio, hit the link tree, and you'll be able to see all the platforms where you can get my podcast, and just take a listen. You won't be disappointed.
The Average Joe podcast, fantastic podcast. Definitely all sports, not just football. You can find everything there, and it is fantastic. Another amazing podcast who I actually had the privilege to be a part of, but it was even probably better before I probably dragged down the ratings a little bit. But you guys bring them back up. Patriot Sports Radio, where can we find your stuff and when, guys?
We are in every one of your favorite podcast apps, Patriot Sports Radio. We are at Patriots Pod on the Twitter. I'm at PSR Host Guy. He is at PSR Producer. And what else we got?
You can find us at www.patriotsports.now.
Yes.
Patriotsports.now. www.patriotsportsnow.com. And then our shows are live at 7:30 in the Saturday mornings with the
and
Football
Sunday
Super
mornings.
With the Football Super podcast, and then Sunday mornings with Rake and Rake, and Rake, and then we're Monday nights for Monday Night Football recap.
Nice.
That's when we run through some games.
Patriot Sports Radio all the time. Just go look at PSR Host, PSR Producer. That's the easiest way to get there, and then just expand into the world of Patriot Sports.
Come like
now.
my mediocre takes.
It's but you will be entertained. I promise you that. There it is at Mr. Football Today, co-host of Yards After the Catch every Tuesday night at 8:30. How are you feeling about this week, bud?
Well, I'm looking towards everything that's going to change, everything that's going to happen. Part of me is like, I really, really, really want to check my lineups. And then part of me is leaning over like, Nat, let me hear some more trash talk. Elio, let's go. I want to hear everybody just start dogging on everybody. Twitter's firing up, whatever the case may be. That's really what's going to get the fire going. Because, I mean, when it comes to lineups, like anything can happen this week. Win, lose, okay, fine. But those Twitters, the charities, that's what I'm looking forward to. Like everything just bumping up a little bit. And I really want to hear some more trash talk. Even some little like short clip videos, maybe of like 30 seconds of just talking trash about your opponent. I'd really appreciate that. That'd be good.
That would be nice.
We'll get on that.
I think
we could do something.
Yeah, I think we can count on that. This is definitely the group right here.
I don't know, Elio. Could you figure that out?
Yeah, could you make something happen?
Short
on that?
videos.
Some spreadsheets of the most trash talk ever.
I
could just keep a list of keeping
do a projection of which gets the most likes and shit on Twitter. You know what I'm saying? Or retweets, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
We'll get extra FAAB money for the week.
I feel bad for a little Sutton. I will tell you that.
It's a rebound game for you. Okay, I mean, it's a rebound game for you.
If you need a spreadsheet of your win probability for the week, just get a hold of at Joe's on Twitter, and Elio will be more than happy to do a spreadsheet up for you. $5, that's all it takes, but you got to give it to him in FAAB for the trenches. Guys, thank you all for talking a little bit of trenches with us. coming out of week 5, going into week 6. Everybody else, make sure you catch the trenches. We go live on Tuesdays at 6:45, the Armchair Athletics on YouTube. And then, of course, we'll drop the show, which you're probably watching right now, usually every Friday. We've got Yards After the Cash. It goes live 8:30 on Tuesday evenings. And I tell you what, if not for anything else, if not for the drama, if not for the backstabbing, if not for the insane challenges that you're going to find on the trenches, you can at least find a ton of outstanding content and a place to throw a couple dollars and do some good in the world. So the trenches, don't miss it, be a part of it, and we will see everybody next week on the next episode. Take care, be safe, just have a great week, everybody. Happy fantasy footballing.
Peace.